It's Wednesday, October the 26th. Lake level is a little over 911. Lakes come up 3 or 4 inches in the last week, maybe about 6 inches. Apparently that was from, we didn't have rain here, but Springfield had a bunch of rain like Wednesday or Thursday, and it seemed like it took till the weekend for that water to get to the lake, but it did come up Friday and Saturday, and it's, like I say, it's up a little bit. Water temperature hasn't cooled down very much. I hadn't been out in the last couple days, but it's still in that 68 to 71 degrees. Now I did find if I go way up in the upper river arms, I'll find some low 60 degree water. But the fishing, to say the least, has been pretty tough. We had that Toyota owners tournament this past weekend Sunday. I think there was 140 boats. And it only took 4 something to get a check. It took 14 pounds to win. I think 10th place was about 9 pounds, but we ended up in like 22nd with just under 5 pounds. So, fishing's been really tough. The tough part about it, it's been hard to catch fish the same way 2 days in a row. Probably about one of the most consistent things, I've been finding to get bites is I've been going, and it doesn't matter what end of the lake, or if I'm, in the Kimberling area or down at the dam or up one of the river arms, but I'm concentrating on the last quarter of the creeks. I'm going in about 3/4 of the way and just keying on everything from the last 3/4 of the way back, whether it be shallow boat docks, on the flats. And I'm basically covering a lot of water back there. I'm mixing it up with the top water, spinnerbait some. And if I've got some cover, whether it be in brush piles or cedar trees or wood, anywhere from 2 to 8 to 10 feet of water, what seems to be fairly consistent is I'm throwing a 3/8 ounce pig sticker jig, either a Snowden or the BA jig with this is a White Rivers craw, but like a Strike King Baby Rage craw will work as well. And another thing I'm catching them on back there, like I say, I'm not catching too many, but the ones I'm catching are pretty much keepers, and the majority of them are largemouth back in them creeks. And like I said, it changes every day. It just seems like I gotta fish new water. But I've been catching some on a Texas rig worm out of the brush piles, and also the cedar trees. Now a lot of these cedar trees, they might be out in the center of the creek, and I'm throwing a 1/4 ounce tungsten weight. This is an 8-inch ringworm, and it's a blue fleck with a red flake, but a plum will work, even a green pumpkin or watermelon red. But I'm pitching the jig and the worm up in these cedar trees that got anywhere from 6 to 12 foot of water on it, working it through the limbs. When the fish are active, you can catch them out of that same cover, either on a spinnerbait or a topwater. But, the last 3-4 trips I've been out, we haven't found too much that's been active. We've really had to slow down to catch them. Now, when I can catch them on a spinnerbait, I'm either throwing a War Eagle, and this one here is a purple shad with a few strands of chartreuse in it. And this is a bait a guy from Pittsburgh sent me a spinnerbait. Been catching some fish on it as well. It's got a real light wire, and it's also like a blue heron. And this is another one of theirs as well. But what I'm doing is I'm dropping these down through the cedar trees and just slow rolling them, getting them about 2-3 foot below the surface, or I'm throwing a top water over the top of them. Now, I've been saying it week after week, we need that water to cool down, and I think right now, no matter where you're at in the country, the fishing is really tough. I got some buddies fishing down on the Arkansas River. Fishing's really tough down there. The only place they seem to be biting very well is up at Lake of the Ozarks, and that place is just a phenomenal fishery. But another thing I've been throwing to catch some smallmouth out on the main lake is a little finesse jig, a little 1/4 ounce. There's a little ball head jig that a friend of mine makes. I've got a little craw on it. And I'm working this on transition banks where the rock goes from, big rock to little rock, just inside the points, anywhere from 4 feet out to about 12 feet. Now, some days I can catch them out there on a wiggle wart. The crankbaits that are working the best is a Spro rock crawler or a Storm wiggle wart, and the crawdad pattern seem to be the best. Now, we've had a lot of days where we've had a lot of wind, which should be, ideal crankbait conditions. But it seems like you got to cover a ton of water. There's just not a whole lot of fish up there shallow. But that crankbait bite, it is better later in the day, especially if the wind is blowing. There's a fairly good bite the first hour or so. And then if it slicks off, it seems like the bite's been pretty tough till, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They seem to start biting again. But, with the weather like it is, if a guy gets a cloudy, rainy day, I would throw a spinnerbait, a Czar spook, or a walking bait, or a whopper plopper. Just cover as much water as I can. And a lot of these topwater fish, some of them are coming on main lake points, just in the side of points on big rock. Some are coming all the way in the back off of almost mud. The pattern seems to be that there is no pattern. You just got to cover water and keep trying new things. Last weekend in that tournament, I thought I had something figured out in the backs of some of these creeks. Well, I spent too much time doing it instead of changing up and coming out to the main lake and trying to catch some smallmouth. But, fishing's a little bit different every day, and it's going to get better, once that water temperature cools down a little bit. And if some of you guys are in town for this FLW championship, if you've got any tackle that you're looking for, you need to get a hold of Sportsman Factory Outlet there in Springfield. They've got an awesome selection of the rock crawlers, the whopper ploppers. They just got a new shipment of War Eagle spinnerbaits. They've got about everything that you need in that store, for Table Rock Lake. And it's right there in Springfield. So until next week, good luck, good fishing.